Hello everybody and welcome back to another new vlog. Thank you for joining me once again, and Happy New Year to you all. That tree there is a belter, isn't it? I've just walked down that path that those people are walking down behind me, and walked past that tree and thought, well, I've never photographed that, I'm going to have to get a picture of it now. But looking at the sky, there's only a very small amount of definition in the sky because obviously it's very overcast. And cloudy and misty and murky, a little bit wet and damp as far as I'm concerned, but there is a little bit of detail in the sky, but because of the brightness of the sky and the fact that I'm shooting this tree from the darkest side of the tree, it means that the tree is almost silhouetted against that sky, and I didn't want that. I wanted to try and capture some of the detail that's in that tree itself. So to do that, I've had to capture 4 separate exposures on this occasion at a 2/50th of a second, 125th of a second, a 60th of a second and a 30th of a second, f4 ISO 100, and by doing that now I can combine all of those images together in post-production and make sure I capture all of the dynamic range in the bright sky and the darkness of that detail on the dark of the tree. That's the idea anyway. If it works out, it's going to look lovely. I just love the shape of that tree and the fact that there's nothing else standing behind it for quite a way, so I can get a wide aperture of f4, keep just the tree itself in focus, and then everything else behind it falls out of focus quite quickly after that. But obviously that dynamic range is making it a little bit difficult, so 4 separate exposures combined together afterwards. I hope you like the resulting image. Guys, can you hear that rain falling now in the woodland? I'm kind of glad I brought my waterproof, to be honest with you. It's not particularly cold and rain has been forecast all day. That's why the sky is so overcast and dull. I just decided to stop off at a place called Longmoor Pool. I've been there several times before and photographed it, but there's one little spot that I wanted to try, which looks great all year round as a composition, but for some reason it doesn't really work in the winter. I've taken a photo of it anyway, and if it's any good, you've already seen it because I'll have put it on the screen for you by now. But I'm not sure if it works. It may do. It may only work as a decent portfolio image, but like I say, if it's any good, you'll already have seen it. But I've come into this woodland. This is Westwood Coppice, and I've only actually photographed this once before. I've walked along the path, along the edge of it a few times, but I only actually popped into this woodland once before, last summer, to try and get some photos of it. Now I've noticed on the way through this woodland there's this massive chunk of tree, limb, branch that's fallen to the floor, and it's got all these gnarly bits and pieces sticking out of it, and it looks like a serpent coming out of the woodland, out of a swamp. So I just want to stop here and capture a quick shot of this, and I've got to tell you, it probably will be a quick shot because with this rain coming down, I'm in almost a bit of a clearing here and I'm going to get soaked. So I've got to set up pretty quickly, take the photo and run, I think, try and get a little bit deeper into the woodland. So I hope you like this image. Look at that beast behind me. Look at the size of it. Must have been some storm that brought that down, mustn't it? I don't know whether there's a picture here. I'm having a look around it, walking around, trying to work the composition as much as possible, but I'm just not totally sure I can see. I think there may be one very slight possibility, but it's difficult. Finding exactly the right spot to capture this is an interesting challenge itself, but I think there's a path along there which runs towards this tree, and I think this just kind of cuts across the path. And if I get just in the right place, I can get quite an interesting composition of this tree cutting the path off, and the path there leading through all of those taller trees either side of the path behind. So I'm going to try and set that one up and see if that works. Possibly even a portrait orientation, because those trees at the back and that path are creating the effect of an image that's taller than it is wide. But there's obviously a lot of depth in there as well, so maybe just F4, focus on this tree here, and then see how the path and the trees behind it fall out of focus. I'll give it a go anyway. Guys, I think that one worked a little bit. Not absolutely sure of it. Obviously I've shown you the image by now, if it's any good. But I decided to get quite close to that tree trunk, about 10 or 12 feet away from it. And then I got quite low down in front of it, shooting with a wide angle lens at 40mm and a portrait orientation, and it kind of made that tree trunk itself quite prominent in the foreground of the image, and the path behind it leading away became much more of a sort of an also-ran, an incidental part of the image leading you away from that tree. I think it works, so I'm keeping it anyway. But I've kind of lost my way a little bit on this little bit of woodland. I've seen a few people walking past on various paths, and I'm trying to see if I can find my own pathway out of it so that I can find something else to shoot. I'm not really having very much luck at the moment, so I'll catch up with you in just a moment. I think I might have spotted another composition. I've also spotted along this path on several occasions evidence that a rather large horse has been passed here. Had to walk around that a couple of times, and I'm kind of glad I haven't seen the large horse on this path, because it's not a very wide path and I don't think I'd stand much of a chance against a horse. But yeah, it does look as though I've found a composition here. It might work, so I'm going to have to stop and take it anyway. Have a look at this. This tree behind me just here. Not that one actually. In fact, I think it's that one there, a little further down the path. All bent over and stooping like that. It might be worth having a look at that and taking a photo. So I'll set one up, see if I can work out where the best composition is, set that up, take a photo of that, and that may well be the last photo of the vlog today. But I'll set up anyway and capture this. That shot did actually work as a portrait orientation. Quite glad I stopped and took it. I'd seen it from about 150 yards away actually, further up the path, and I could just see it sort of opening out into a little bit of a clearing, and this tree appeared, so I kind of had to shoot it. Look at the moss on the side of that tree there as well. That's beautiful, that is, isn't it? So once again, this is exposure bracketed, because as you'll see, the light from outside of the woodland is really streaming in on the one edge, and it's causing a huge dynamic range throughout the image. So the only thing I could do was bracket the exposures. Hopefully that'll bring out all of the highlights and all of the detail and all of that texture in the moss and the trunk of that tree, because it looks beautiful from where I'm standing. So I hope you like that image. Hope you've enjoyed the first vlog of 2023. There should be plenty more to come as well. So if you have enjoyed it, please remember, give it a thumbs up, and please remember to also hit that subscribe button, and I will see you again on another vlog very soon. Bye for now.